Here we go, we've got the amazing surprise that I had to race off for in mid-sentence. A pack of wild dog trotting down the road right towards us. One of Africa's rarest carnivores, and what a special treat this is. They're going to come right past the vehicle. The African wild dog, or the painted dog. Okay, and now we've got to move relatively quickly because these animals don't stick around for very long. They are nature's athletes. Here they are. Which way are they going to go? This is so exciting. Thanks, Rex. They've stopped for the moment. They're sniffing around. Oh, for those of you that have just jumped on board, one of the things that we've started doing is to share a one-word tweet about how these animals make us feel. So whenever you see wild dogs, what is the first emotion that comes to mind? Send through your one-word tweet on #SafariLive. These wild dogs are truly one of the most exciting creatures that we have to see. They're constantly moving, constantly on the trot and on the hunt. And aren't they beautiful? Those splotches of paint, you can really see where the nickname, a painted dog, comes through. If you have just jumped on board with us and wondering what on earth is going on, you are on a live safari in the middle of the African bush, right up in the top northeastern corner of South Africa, in the greater Kruger National Park area, and we're sitting with a pack of wild dogs. Hold on, everybody, we've got to move a little bit. They're on the move, and they do move fast. Oh, we started off a little bit earlier, and by the way, my name is Jamie. I completely forgot about that little fact. My name is Jamie, and it is my pleasure to be able to take you on an exciting journey following these animals. It could get a little bit tricky, so everybody hold on to your hats. We've got some serious work to do. Now they're moving straight in the direction of where we were looking for Karula earlier. They could even find her. Who knows? It wouldn't be the first time that we've had or Karula's had an encounter with wild dogs. It would be the second time. No, it would be the third time in 3 months that I have seen a Karula in some way interacting with these fantastic animals. And to see the interaction between the various predators is always an absolute pleasure. It's a fascinating thing to witness. Hold on, everybody. We've got to go around some big trees. We are going to try and stay with them. They're very, very difficult at times. Whoopsie. Hold on, Liam. And this is why we say wild dogs are so incredibly exciting. Now, they're rumored to be one of the animals with the highest hunting success rate, and that's because of their hunting strategy. Rather than trying to sneak forward and creep up on their prey in the same way lions and leopards do, these wild dogs actually constantly course through the bush, which is exactly what they're doing now. Where have they gone? Hold on. And keep an eye out for leopards up in the trees. Hold on. Okay. They're moving through some very dense vegetation off to my left, so we've got to go around. And Carisha, you say that your one-word description of seeing wild dogs is exhilarating. Mauricia, you say that your one-word description is exhilarating. Sorry, Mauricia, that's a regular name. I thought perhaps you were a new viewer, but Mauritia's been watching for as long as I've been working at Safari Live. You can just see the tips of their white tails ahead of me. Oh my goodness, hold on. This is why they are so exhilarating. There they just see how fast they're going. So while we are racing off after them, as they disappear into the dense vegetation, white tails are flashing through the bush, I'm going to keep racing after them, try and get ahead of them. Let's go across to James in the tent so he can tell you a bit more about them.
They are so cool. They are definitely my favorite animal out here. Isn't that just the best thing? Good. Now, we'll definitely catch up with them again and you'll have a closer look. This is the size of a wild dog's head. So roughly the size of, I reckon, about an Alsatian size, a German Shepherd or so. And that's it there. It's really rather terrifying teeth. You can see that it has there. Of course, rather like that is a baby crying in the background. Please don't worry about it. It is not under attack. Now, what some of the things that it is going to find in that bush, these are three of the things that it might try and eat. The first is the steenbok, smallest antelope that we get here. This one obviously long dead. The second would be a grey duiker over here, a little bit bigger, probably about 35 to 40 pounds or so. And then those chaps, I mean, there's only three of them, but they could take down an impala, of course, which a big male like this was probably around about 140 pounds when he died. But female and the youngsters, slightly lighter than that, between 100 and 120 pounds. And of course, if there is an impala lamb, they're just about to be born, then that will be ideal, and that'll be about steenbok sized. That's about 20 pounds. So those are the three major prey species that a wild dog would go for. And you can see, whoops, this one has lost a tooth. Never mind, we'll have to glue it back in there. You can see that although it's quite a big dog, they're very slight, obviously. They're not muscly in the same way that an Alsatian or a Ridgeback might be, but they're certainly more than capable of taking down animals of this size. About the same size head-wise as an impala, of course, but you will find that their bodies are much lighter, much leaner. Now, my one word for wild dogs, and is probably quite unoriginal, it's happy. They make me feel really happy, and I find them so happy-making because they're egalitarian. They love being around each other, they love feeding each other, they look after their old, they look after their sick, and I find out here, and in fact in our own species, those sorts of things are qualities that are very rare indeed, and that's why I quite like them a lot. Right, there we go. That is the wild dog, a very vast fellow indeed. Now, while Jamie does her best to find them, I'll show you something else. Let me just put this here. Sorry, Matt Attack, I missed your question. We're just going to have it again. I've become so excited. Oh, Matt Attack, you say, do wild dogs lose most of their kills because they make a lot of noise? It's a very, very good question. And the question, of course, is valid in an area where there are lots of hyenas, for example. Yes, they do make a lot of noise. They whoop and they squeal and they twitter. For those of you who don't know, they go... They're not really like that, but they sound like a pack of enraged birds when they catch something and they share the kills, and that does attract other predators, and it would in fact attract something like the animal that ate that. That would be a hyena, and they have much more powerful jaws than a wild dog has. Wild dog would never be able to do that to a bone. But because they eat so fast, Matt Attack, what you find is that they often feed and disappear before things like hyenas can come in. But I have seen many, many incidents where wild dogs and hyenas have fought over kills, and that's been when wild dogs have killed something, not finished it in time, made the noise like you said, and the hyenas have come in. Right, Jamie's still on the trail. Let's go and find out how she's doing.
Well, remember earlier where I stopped to have a look at a wild dog, or draw a leopard track? Well, here the wild dogs are. They've popped out right here. And this is the joy of our live safaris, is that we just never know which direction the afternoon is going to go in. And who would have thought that we'd be racing through the bush, trying desperately to keep up with a pack of wild dogs. Rex, I'm behind you. Sorry, everybody, we just have to all communicate between us to make sure we don't lose them, and they could actually disappear any moment now. They're going through a very, very dense area, and there are some places even we can't get our vehicles. Gail, your one-word tweet is energized, and that we certainly are. We are all thoroughly energized as we race after the wild dogs. And you can see there's some guests having an amazing time with their professional guides, taking them around, following the animals. Okay, let's go around and onto Elephant Skull Road. Hi, guys. Let's see if we can't catch up with them. Now, these wild dogs are running. I had my foot absolutely flat on the accelerator at one point. And we were talking about it earlier between us as guides, the fact that these dogs, you can be traveling at nearly 60 kilometers an hour, which is easily just over 30 miles per hour, and they're still outrunning us, which is why we have to be so energized whenever we follow them. Hold on, everybody. while we race off after them, some of the most incredible experiences we have had with African wild dog, and I know that James can attest to this, is on foot. Luca, you were wondering if there are any recorded cases of wild dogs attacking humans. Luca, I have never ever in all my time in the bush ever heard of an attack on a human being. They are an animal that has a natural sense of curiosity and playfulness and an exceptional intelligence, which means that sometimes, yes, they do go up and they look at human beings on foot, but no. There you got them. Well done, Wiem. Yes, I see them. Hold on. They are not a naturally aggressive creature. They're just very, very fast. There they go. They're going to go racing in front of us. I'm actually going to stick on the road for now. It'll give us a slightly easier passage to try and follow them. They're basically just cutting the corner. So hold on. Things might get a little bumpy. The camera might bump all over the place, but that's half the joy of live. Now, what they're doing at the moment is they're moving through the vegetation, and they are what I described earlier as coursing, which means that they're looking to flush things like small antelope. And as soon as they manage that, they chase their prey down and catch them. Now, wild dogs have this terrible reputation as being very vicious hunters, very cruel hunters. Oh my goodness, they no time to delay. They're almost at the next junction. But they're actually not. They're actually very efficient, very rapid killers in terms of the prey that they catch. We just have to navigate around. And as Brent described them, the most endangered canid, an African wild dog pack, and they finally stopped long enough for me to be able to tell you that it is 2 males and 1 female. Now, if my suspicions are correct, this is in fact a dispersal pack. In other words, a pack that has moved off on its own in search of new territories, new areas, and new mating opportunities, so away from a much larger pack. And as far as I know, this trio is from a pack known as the Lower Sabi pack, which is a camp in the Kruger National Park, which means they've easily covered a distance of close to 70 to 100 kilometers from their original range that they would have been born into and that they would have moved around in. And they're essentially in the process of forming their new pack. So there's the female on the left, okay, now on the right, and the male on the left. And they're slowly but surely moving into some dense vegetation. Now, unfortunately, we're going to have to leave them so that we can make space for other vehicles that have arrived and want to be able to share the sighting with share it with as many guests as possible. So at this point, we're going to let them move off. We'll keep an ear on the Game Drive channel so that I can hear where they go, and we will catch up with them a little bit later, fingers crossed. They have moved into a very dense area, so we won't be able to follow them. I'm going to try, oh, there we go, oh, no. I was going to say for one last view. We're going to hang around this area and hope that they do pop out and that we can have a chance to sit with them and to spend a little bit of time with them. Isn't that exciting? There is nothing like spending a little bit of time with wild dogs. All right, I'm going to head back to where Karula was and see whether or not she's popped out with the chase of the wild dog. In the meantime, Brent hasn't had to go too far. He's still with those amazing lions.